management techniques, as also the right mix of service and self-sufficiency. Well-equipped hostel facility is available at all the centers of APHRDI. AC residential accommodation is available for all the resource persons and the participants at all the centers of APHRDI. The APHRDI is one of the few ATIs in the country to have the National Knowledge Network facility. This enabled us to establish instantaneous video link for effective interactive sessions with about 1600 national institutions all over the country. APHRDI has so far facilitated 8 international presentations from US, Estonia, China, Sri Lanka, and England. APHRDI has completed 746 programs since its inception and trained nearly 69,736 employees. APHRDI has so far completed 270 online knowledge sharing sessions from 22nd April 2020 onwards with the participation of nearly 1 lakh employees. APHRDI has conducted First Bell program, Government of Kerala initiative, and has received a record views of more than 1 lakh. A number of training programs of APHRDI are being supported by Department of Personnel and Training, DOPT, Government of India. The institute has so far facilitated training and state exposure for 81 officers of Central Secretariat from Government of India in the last 4 years. This is done in 6 batches of training. Senior functionaries of Indian Foreign Service have also been attached to APHRDI for the state exposure. Training programs of IAS probationers allotted to AP State are regularly being conducted at APHRDI. APHRDI has also facilitated the conduct of state attachment of civil service officers from Haryana as part of Bharat Darshan. Government of India have initiated a unique program called Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat for facilitating officers from 2 states to spend considerable time in both the states. AP has paid with Punjab in this regard during 2019 to 20. APHRDI has completed capacity building training on Titli Cyclone project in collaboration with AP State Disaster Management Authority and UNDP. APHRDI has also conducted post-disaster needs assessment study of the flooding in Godavari River with particular reference to East Godavari district. APHRDI has also completed a unique 15-day induction training program for visually impaired and deaf and dumb categories of employees belonging to different departments. This is supported by DOPT, Government of India. APHRDI has completed DTS training to 424 identified resource persons and coordinators for the Animal Husbandry Department. A total of 2,400 distinguished resource persons from different parts of the country have made presentations at APHRDI. The details of resource persons are available in the website www.aphrdi.ap.gov.in. APHRDI has evolved the practice of providing internship to college students in different streams. For the year 2020-21, BITS Pilani Rajasthan Hyderabad campus has deputed 30 students to APHRDI under practical school program. This has recently concluded. APHRDI, in association with UNICEF Hyderabad field office, has set up a Center for Sustainable Development Goals in January 2018 in its campus at Bapatla. In the current year, the CSDG Center is pursuing DRR activities under goal number 11 with support of UNICEF. This is in addition to promoting all other sustainable development goals through appropriate capacity building efforts. UNICEF has sanctioned one more project called Child Friendly Local Governance, and this also has been recently concluded, which included in the all other local stakeholders towards child-friendly local governance and building the resilience of local governance institutions to help mitigate the adverse impacts of emergencies. As part of this project, APHRDI has completed TOT for district level officials of 5 major departments and also completed 4-day program for the officials of Mandal level, GP level for 5 districts, Guntur, Krishna, Kadapa, Anantapur and Chittur during November and December. Menstrual Hygiene Management Working Committee has been constituted by APHRDI with technical support from UNICEF. This committee is unique in South India and has members from all the major line departments. As per the recommendations of the MHM Working Committee, Srimati Anuradha Madam, Principal Secretary, Women and Child Welfare Department, has issued a GO notifying Working Committee in Andhra Pradesh. This GO enables APHRDI with support from UNICEF Hyderabad Field Office with all the line departments for effective implementation of various programs, policies and guidelines related to MHM towards creating a safe and supportive and healthy environment for women and adolescent girls to maintain MHM with dignity and privacy. And now I would like to introduce our speaker, Ms. Kausar Saeed Garu, highly skilled and accomplished educator with extensive knowledge of the latest and most effective teaching method, specializes in effective teacher training programs, preschool designing and curriculum designing. parenting coach with effectual presentation and communication abilities. More than a decade of hands-on experience with expertise as an early childhood specialist. Specializes in administrators' work in childcare facilities such as preschools and daycare centers, which comprises of managing preschool teachers, developing effective professional training programs for teachers, parenting programs, integrated curriculums, develop institutional policies, and also offer conflict resolution and take responsibility for business aspects such as program costs and budgeting. Dedicated, resourceful, and passionate education professional with an accomplished career promoting quality education across India. Founded a company, Learn to Lead. Company holds a reputation for its well-curated leadership programs and consultancy projects. Currently, National Committee member of ECA, was territory head of ECA for the Telangana state, India, from 2015 to 2018. Holds a key position in recently formed Telangana Parent Association. Was appointed as territory head of ECA for Telangana state. Within a year of its work in Hyderabad, ECA was awarded as best territory by ECA India for 3 consecutive years. As a territory head of ECA, she has been successful in creating a platform for early childhood educators in Hyderabad with 3,000 plus registered preschoolers as its members, enriching workshops for school leaders, teachers, and parents, publications to name a few of its activities. Now I request ma'am to take the session.
A very good morning, everyone.
Morning, madam.
I welcome you for this session on NEP for school education. Can I have someone to play my PowerPoint presentation?
Okay.
Sriram, you have her presentation?
Yes, sir.
Then we play it for her.
Yes, sir. It has been emailed yesterday.
Right. I would like to compliment the staff of HRD who have been able to mobilize more than 996 participants as of now. I think it's a good number.
Yes, that's an excellent number.
Yeah.
The new education policy 20 has come to us in 2020, and it is certainly to bring about a revolution in the way education is happening, has been happening, and will happen in India. There is a vision for this new education policy. This says that the national education policy, this education policy, envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contribute directly to transforming India, that is Bharat, sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all, thereby making an India the global knowledge superpower. The last education policy actually visualized equity in education. That is why this RTE was there, and we have successfully implemented, which was visioned in the last education policy. Now, this education policy wants education to be deep rooted with the Indian ethos and contribute directly to transforming India. While providing high quality education, making India a global knowledge superpower. So last education policy was RTE, and this education policy is about making our education deep rooted in the Indian ethos and also making India the global knowledge superpower. I'm sure that this is an achievable vision, and together we will be able to achieve this vision. Can we go to the next slide, please? After that, the NEP is divided into the NEP document, which has come to us, is divided into 4 parts. The first part is the school education. The second part is the higher education. Third is the other areas of focus, and fourth is making it happen. The first part, which is the school education, is of most relevance to all of us because we work in that sector. Now, this school education part, which is the first part, has got about 8 chapters in it. Can we go to the next slide? Though you can see there are 9 tabs here, but actually the first tab, which is the structure, is not a part of the chapter, but it is something very important to be talked about. So that is why we start talking with that. So first we will talk about the change in the structure that is being formulated or proposed in the new education policy. And after that, we have got 8 chapters here. That is the early childhood care and learning, the foundation literacy and numeracy, curtailing the dropout rates, curriculum and pedagogy, teachers, equitable and inclusive education, school complexes, standard setting and accreditation for school education. If you actually see, for the first time, the early childhood care and learning has been mentioned in the new education policy. Otherwise, we always considered formal schools or K-10, K-12 schools to start from grade 1. And the classes before that were only taken care by the Anganwadis. But now the ECE is being integrated into the school system itself. We are also talking about the foundation literacy and numeracy. This again means that there must be some importance which is required to the basic literacy and numeracy even before going to the higher grades. Then we are talking about curtailing dropout rates, which is also being talked about in the last education policy. And then we talk about curriculum and pedagogy. What do you mean by pedagogy? Curriculum is the detailed plan of how to execute the lessons, and pedagogy is way of teaching. So this has been given a lot of importance here through the new education policy, because obviously what we are looking at is the new age education. Then we talk about teachers, and then we talk about equitable and inclusive education, and then the school complexes and standard setting and accreditation. So these are the 8 chapters with the structure, which is the first part that we are going to talk about in today's session. Now, talking about the first structure, the first part, which is the structure. In the structure, if you actually see the slide, can we go to the next slide, please? Now, the previous structure was 10 plus 2, which begins at grade 1 at the age of 6. But the new structure is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. And nursery, no, here it doesn't start with grade 1, which begins at age 6, but here it starts with nursery, which begins at age 3. So the 5 here is nursery, LKG, UKG, grade 1 and grade 2. That is the first part. So together that will be called the foundation stage. Nursery to grade 2, it will be called the foundation stage, which starts from age 3. But previously, it was not like that. Previously, it started with class 1 and it began at the age of 6. The second stage after the 5 is the 3, which is grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5, which is called the preparatory stage. So foundation stage and the preparatory stage. And then comes the grade 6, grade 7, and grade 8, which is the middle school stage. And then the senior secondary, which is 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you see from the difference from the previous testing, the 10 plus 2 in that first nursery, LKG, UKG was not taken into consideration, which is now being taken into consideration. And 2 was taken separately, which is 11th and 12th. So we had many junior colleges and intermediate colleges there. But now it's 9th and 11th, 12th in cities. So we are looking at from kindergarten to 12th grade and then go to university directly. So these are the 4 stages. Now the first stage is called the foundation stage because we all need to know that research says that 85% of the brain development is complete by the time a child completes his 8 years. That is by the time he completes his grade 2 and grade 3. And then it's like basic framework is completed, and after that what is happening are only the walls and the windows. And most of, and that is why now this foundation stage is being given importance and being inculcated into the school system. And a lot of research has happened in this field. Some of the research I will share it with you later also. You know, many kind of behaviors which have been noticed in children when they found out if they were, you know, people with criminal records. When they found out, they found that these were the children who did not go to a preschool or who did not get early childhood education. So that is the importance of foundation stage, and that is the importance of early childhood education. And that is why the new education policy has actually taken into consideration this age. And then the preparatory stage. As the name suggests, we are calling the preparatory stage because we are preparing them for the academics, which will start from grade 6. So till foundation stage and preparatory stage, more emphasis has to be on the development of children and not just learning. But from the preparatory stage, we will prepare them, and then from middle and secondary, we will focus on the scholastic achievement, that is the academics. So that is about the structure which has been proposed in the new education policy. It has shifted from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 with 4 stages, which is the foundation stage, preparatory stage, middle school and secondary school. And it starts by taking into consideration children from age 3. Now, if we go to the next slide, this talks about the first very important chapter, which is early childhood care and learning. As I have mentioned, that children in early years are not just learning, but also developing. So it is very important for us to provide them with early childhood learning experiences, which are not just appropriately developed for age appropriate learning, but also they have to be developmentally appropriate. Now, what do we mean by development? Development in children is in 4 domains. The first domain is language development. The second domain is cognitive. The third is physical, and fourth is socio-emotional. The first domain, which is the language, have got 4 parts to it, or stages I can say, which are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now, in this, the 2 are the inputs and the 2 are the outputs. I mean, if you give something, you get something. So listening is the input for speaking and reading is the input for writing. So if we want children to develop the domain or develop the skill of reading, the skill of writing, we have to give them reading. If we want them to speak in that language, then we have to give them listening. So that is the language development. Cognitive development is about understanding, problem solving. That is all thinking, all that comes into the cognitive development. Then comes the physical development, in which they are muscle developments, the body, using the body for activities. And in that, we have got 2 skills, which are fine motor and gross motor. Fine motor are smaller muscles, like the finger muscles and eyeball coordination. But the larger muscles are the putting your hands up or knees or getting down. All these are the gross motor. So this is about physical development. And then we come to the 4th one, which is the socio-emotional. That is developing social skills, working in a team, emotional development, handling their emotions, handling their anger, stress. So all these 4 domains of development has to be taken into consideration apart from the literacy and numeracy that we give in early years. That we mean by early childhood care and learning. And that we mean by quality in early childhood education, which we have targeted or which we have envisioned will happen maximum by 2030. Now, a framework for early childhood education has been developed till the age of 8, and it's been developed by NCERT. It's already available on the NCERT website. It is like small framework. We have to do it more in detail. And it is namely provided, it is provided in 2 parts, which is the sub framework, which is for 0 to 3 years, and another sub framework, which is for 3 to 8 years. So a brief framework is already there on the NCERT website, and many early childhood educators have worked in detail on this to provide more hands-on or ready curricular framework for all of us. One such framework is provided by our company also. If anyone of you want to check that out, I can provide it to you. And these early childhood years have to be taken care or have to be taught by the ECCE qualified teachers. So it's not NTT, it is ECC. NTT is Nursery Teacher Training. Now it is for Early Childhood Care and Education qualified teachers. So till now there are going to be certificate programs which will be provided in ECC, and those teachers will be conducting both the early years and the preparatory classes. Not B.Ed. B.Ed may be given with specialization in EC now. So this is about the first chapter, which is Early Childhood Care and Education. And the learning will be hands-on learning, playful learning, activity learning in foundation years with no textbook. But in preparatory class, slowly the books will be introduced so that they get prepared for the next classes. With this, we come to the second chapter. Can we change the slide, please? The second chapter talks about foundation, literacy, and numeracy. The goal of this chapter is to make every student attain the foundation, literacy, and numeracy. So we have, there was a research which happened, and they said about 2 crores of children in India by the time this research happened. And then we don't know, statistical records have taken all the numbers into consideration. Nevertheless, 2 crores is a huge number. But that number of children have not attained the foundation or the basic literacy and numeracy. That is, they do not know the basic alphabets and numbers or the basic operations in numbers, how to operate with numbers, which could help them build the future knowledge. So when they found this out, they have taken it in the NEP that they will ensure that first, before children start the preparatory classes, that is the classes from grade 3 or grade 1, all the children will have to complete or come to the same stage of foundation, literacy, and numeracy, and only then they will take them for the future classes. So to ensure this, because till now, early childhood care was not given so much of attention. Till now, it was all about, health in Anganwadis. So nutrition and health was taken into consideration. Till now, this was not taken into consideration, the foundation, literacy, and numeracy. Many of the Anganwadi workers were only focusing on the health of lactating mothers and on the health of the health of the children, but they did not actually focus on the skill development. And that is why through this new education policy, they are trying to focus on the skill development for children in the foundation, literacy, and numeracy. So to ensure this, because till now this has not been the focus, so the play-based program, which is called the school preparation module. The school preparation module will be a program through which they will try to make the children complete their foundation literacy and numeracy skills, so that when all of them joined in grade 1, will be on the same level. And for is being recommended that the teacher ratio should be 25:1. Also, to ensure that we give more of reading. Today, we have got a lot of private publications providing reading material for children, because obviously the cost is high. And I'm not audible. Am I audible now?
Ma'am. Some person they have device problem, ma'am.
I'm still not
audible, ma'am. Your voice is audible.
Hello.
Voice is audible, ma'am. Audible, ma'am.
Okay, I'm audible, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So okay, I'm continuing. So to heard that all children who have reached that from the stage, a 3-month play-based program, school preparation module will be prepared by the NCERT in alliance with the SCRT, be given to children as a before they join the grade, the summer program maybe. That is to bring all the children on the same level, and the child ratio will be 25:1. Now I was talking about national promotion policy. Now this means that we all know that a lot of books are available for children, very expensive for all the children to buy. So that is why government is going to come with a national book promotion policy where digital library, nowadays public libraries are also not very easily available for children. So that is why a library will be provided, and they will provide reading material so that our children get the opportunity to have an access to books. All get the accessibility, not who can manage the funds. So that is why a national book promotion policy will be developed. Extensive initiatives will be taken. Even now we can do that through HRDI. We can actually have a digital library now itself. And apart from this, health of children is important as well. So regular health checkups will be taken care by the school. And here, not just the physical, but the mental well-being of the children will also be taken into consideration. So this is about the foundation literacy and numeracy. So in this, the first 3-month program will be given to bring children to the same level. National book promotion policy will be given, and the mental well-being of children will be taken and given as much consideration as the physical health of the child. Now we come to the 4th chapter. Can we go slide? Slide, please. Can we go to the next slide, please? So now we come to the chapter about curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education at all levels. By this, it means that through this new education policy, we are going to try our best to control the dropout of children from the school. Go to the last slide, which is as per the statistics say that in 6.2 crore children of between 6 and 18 estimated to be out of school into, so approximately like 6.2 crore children did not go to schools in 2030, and our goal obviously achieve 100% gross enrollment in from preschools to secondary stage by 2025. Can you please go to the last slide? 4th, the number 4 will come on the top. This is number 5. So 6.2 children. Please go. Yeah, this is enough. Number 4. So 6 crore children is a big number to be out of the school. So obviously this will be of a very big concern, and it has to be taken into consideration. What we are going to do, what the new education policy says is that we have to keep counselors and social workers who have to be recruited in schools or school complexes and teachers will continuously work with students and parents and travel through and connect with communities to ensure that children come to school. Now, here we are saying that social workers will be recruited to schools or school complexes. These by school complexes we will see later. As we come to school complex, we will talk about that. Okay, I see some of you saying that I'm not audible. So well-trained social workers will be recruited to school complexes and they will work continuously with students and their parents. Now, most of the reasons because of which children drop out are also the financial reasons or the lack of pedagogical tool. The way we are teaching doesn't engage children enough. So the world around them looks more interesting to them. That is why the entire shift that is being recommended in the way we teach, project method, hands-on method, skill development, all these things, and we never took mental well-being of children into consideration. So they were too stressed out with a lot of expectations from them. Somewhere these also contributed to the dropout of children from the school or avoiding to even join the school. So somewhere, if we provide these kind of opportunities to children through our NEP, which is being recommended already, we are sure to achieve the gross enrollment ratio. Apart from this, efforts will be made to involve the community and alumni. We always believe in peer learning. So with children also, we will take the alumni of the school to talk about to get involved into the counseling and talk about how education has helped them and how education has helped make their lives better. And I'm too sure all this together will add value and will contribute to more enrollment, curtailing the dropout rates. So this is the 4th chapter. The 5th chapter, can we go to next slide, please? The 5th chapter is about curriculum and pedagogy. As I've mentioned previously, curriculum means a detailed day-by-day plan of what the children are going to go through in the classes. The way a lesson planning is done for higher grade and lower grade is certainly different because all the children are not on the same mental stage. You have to plan it differently. And pedagogy. Pedagogy means the way of teaching. So these two things are becoming very, very important for us to ensure quality in education. So in this, the first main point is the restructuring of the school structure, which I have already told you that from 10 plus 2, it will become 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, in which the first 5 years are called the foundation stage. And this stage is supposed to be flexible, multi-level, play-based, activity-based learning with no textbook. Then we come to the preparatory stage, which comprises of 3 years of education, building on discovery, activity-based, but slowly textbooks will be incorporated at this stage. And then we come to the middle stage, which comprises of 3 years of education, building on the formal pedagogy. Now, examination, formal pedagogy will come. And you will be having subject teachers here. Before this, we will be having home teacher. That is one teacher teaching all the subjects. Middle age onwards, we will have subject teachers. And then here again, the pedagogy, the way of teaching has to be project method, debates, and all this also have to be given marks. Should not always be in test paper and an answer sheet. And it will be more of experiential learning. What do you mean by experiential learning? It is about hands-on learning. Isn't it very important for us to give this to children now? If we are teaching about a simple concept of plant, and if we ask them to sow a seed and watch it as the plant grows, then the learning happens. We don't even need to worry about teaching them with a book here. So experiential learning has become very important. Children are very curious and intelligent now. And if we allow them to learn the amount of learning that is going to happen will be very, very different. So this is the middle stage. And then the higher secondary stage, which is the last stage. Students initially, because we had 10+2 option, but now in the secondary school, we have got 9 to 12 as one block. Nevertheless, after 10th, if children want to exit, they can exit to pursue vocation or other courses. But 11th and 12th will also be in the curriculum will inculcate a lot of vocational training for them. That they have a good skill base. So if this is what you see. So after 10 they can exit if they want, but 11th and 11th, 12th will be there in every school. But if they want, they can exit after 10. If you see the overall thrust of the curriculum and pedagogical reform across all the stages is planned to move education system towards real understanding. Understanding is given more importance. How to learn has, the rote learning culture has been removed, and more of understanding of that knowledge has an understanding of the content is being taken into consideration. Now, because all of us as educators have seen that many a times teachers don't conduct projects or don't take field trips or project method because of lack of time, and they're always busy in completion of the syllabus. So obviously, to help them with that, the curriculum content, that is the syllabus that you call, is reduced in each subject to most important things, so that the teachers get more time to create activities or projects on that, and that will help our children to critically think. By critical thinking, we mean how they'll be able to solve a problem. I mean, we need to teach them by helping them to think, to solve, to look through the futuristic. Now, how do we do that? These simple things, instead of teaching them the entire thing, you bring them into a problem, you give them a problem and they have to solve it. Like you say that if the electricity goes out, and how do we manage? So maybe they'll talk about solar power, maybe they will talk about how to adjust the light and air in the room. So this way you put them into a problem and they solve the problem by critical thinking. And this is the way the education should happen, which is called holistic method, inquiry-based method, discovery-based method, discussion-based method, and analysis-based learning. So this requires a lot of time from the teachers. That's why the syllabus will be reduced in each subject so that this kind of learning will happen. Obviously, our teachers have been teaching in the rote learning method through chalk and talk all this while. So all the teachers will have to go through a certain training aspect in this about how to make their lesson plans inquiry-based, discovery-based, discussion-based. We have to, from now onwards, start working on those goals. So in all the stages, experiential learning will be adopted. By experiential learning, we mean hands-on learning, art integration, sports integration. All this will be taken into the education system. And students will be given flexibility and choice of subjects to study. That is, especially in the higher grades, 11th and 12th. They can integrate science with arts. So more of integration and more of liberty is given so that children are happy. Children do what they want to do. So, and we get the best of the skilled children that we want to look at through education. Can you go to the next slide, please? So if you actually see the entire pedagogical process, there is no hard separation among curricular, extracurricular, co-curricular, arts, humanities, which we used to say now. The vocational, the next slide, the vocational, academics, all this was taken separately. We used to first give them academics, and then if we had time, we would give them curricular activities, or art and craft class will be different, or vocational training or sports training will be different. But now it's not like that. All that is being integrated together, and through that the learning process has to happen. So obviously the way we are framing our lesson plans, the way we are planning our lesson plans has to change here. Can we go to the next slide? So this is about the change from the rote learning to hands-on learning. Coming to the most important and much debated and controversial part of the national education policy, which is the medium of the instruction. So the medium of instruction until at least grade 5 should, or preferably till grade 8, should be home language or any other language. Now we all have to understand that here they are talking about medium of instruction. Here they are not talking about language to learn. Learning a language is very different from using a language for communication. Now if I'm talking to you, I'm communicating in English language. But if you're learning a language, it is different. The way we have all learned some foreign languages like French and all that, we learn from the basics of A, B, C, D, pronunciation, to how to make sentences, to grammar. That is called learning language. That's not what he's talking about in the NEP. What is being talked about is medium of instruction. So it is very important for us to be easily able to use the local or regional languages, because if we don't, then our teachers will be blocked in learning the English language. And then the comprehension, the understanding of the concept takes the back seat. They'll be challenged if they are not able to teach in the regional language. That is this recommendation in the new education policy, which is the medium and instruction can be the regional language, makes it easy for teachers to communicate with their students. And it will also be easy for us, easy for the students to understand. So entire focus have been shifted from to understanding the concept in this new education policy. That is why allowing teachers to use local language has been mentioned in the new education policy. Now again, they very clearly they are saying that no language will be imposed on the state. The 3 languages learned by the children will be the choice of the state, region, and the course of students themselves, so long as 2 languages are native to India. For all obvious reasons, we want our children to learn our regional languages. So they want out of the 3 languages, at least 2 languages should be native to India. Students who wish to change the language may do so in grade 6 and 7. So to facilitate this, the books also, they're trying to prepare bilingual. Not necessarily all books are in English, but we can also have these books in our own regional languages like Telugu, which makes it easy both for the teachers and for the students. So this is what it has been mentioned about the language. Can we go to the next slide? So now it's also being mentioned, as I've been saying, that hands-on learning has been given a lot of importance in national education policy. So importance to vocational training from grade 6 onwards, especially till 12th, has been provided here with internship opportunities. So if we provide children with internship, especially paid internship, maybe we will be able to control the dropouts which happen because these children are first-time learners and they have to help or support their family also financially. So to control that, in order to facilitate that, internship opportunities, vocational training will help our children in the longer run. So all these recommendations will be made by the NCERT and SCERT, and obviously because textbooks do not have a lot of weight here, the weight of the school bags will decrease and it will be more of hands-on learning. Now this is all about the way teaching is happening. Now how will the assessment happen? Again, in the assessment, all the teaching was happening so seriously, with only the question being asked and the answers being rote learned by children was happening because of the assessment pattern. Now the assessment pattern will change, and the culture of our school system will shift from summative, that is the exam-based exam only, which was based on rote memorization, to more of formative, which is more competency based, which promotes learning and development of students. They test the higher order skills, the thinking capability, critical thinking, concept clarity. More of projects, debates will also be taken into consideration and not only paper based. And the report card will be changed. This will be designed under the guidance of the National Assessment Center, which will be formed. And the report card will not be just English this marks, A+, and Maths this marks, Social this marks, but it will be more of a holistic report where the mental well-being, the skill development, everything will be written about children. So it will be 360 degrees multidimensional report that reflects in great deal the progress as well as the uniqueness of each child. So we will not only academically assess children, but we will also assess their unique abilities of, if they are good communicators or if they are very good leaders. So all these skills will be taken into consideration and mentioned in the progress reports. And this we will do by using assessment tools like self-assessment, peer assessment, project-based methods, quiz, role play, group work. All this will happen under the guidance of the teachers, and that is how our assessment will change. Board exams obviously will be made easier. Can we go to next slide, please? In the sense that we will only not test the core capacity or subject. We will also see the skill-based skills of the children. There will be a new thing where the children will be able to write the exam and choose the best of the 2 marks, the way it was in intermediate or graduation. More of objective type and multiple choice questions will be asked instead of descriptive or essay type answers. Guidelines to do this will be prepared by NCERT and with consultation with SCERT, and Board of Assessments will be proposed. The new assessment center will be formed, and all this will be given to us, and it is scheduled to come our academic sessions by 2022-23. That is the next academic session. So from now onwards, we have to start preparing our teachers to plan the pedagogy or lesson plans, project maze, and do assessments like this, so that from next academic year onwards, they are very hands-on and ready to conduct this. Can we go to the next slide? The next slide. Okay. So this is about the assessment system, and national testing agencies will be formed, where aptitude test will also be taken into consideration. Can we go to the next slide? So this new education policy, till now we have always been talking about slow learners and special needs children. In special needs, we have never talked about gifted children. So in this, we will be talking about gifted children. A B.Ed program with specialization in this will be designed and will be provided to teachers. So a very topic-centered, project-based clubs and circles will be formed so that we support more hands-on learning, and the entire teaching and assessment will happen this way now. So this is about curriculum and pedagogy, which is the 4th. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. On the top, it is written teachers. Next slide. So this, though I have numbered 6, but this is the 5th chapter in the new education policy. Now, teachers, both in private and public schools, have to be qualified through TET. So previously, and teachers will be not just recruited to schools, but school complexes. What it means by school complexes, I will discuss when we come to that chapter. But the sharing of the teachers across the schools would be considered. And now it won't be like till now we see that the best, we have created a hierarchy in the school. That is, the higher class teachers are the senior teachers, and the lower class teachers are the junior teachers. Now it won't be like that. It will, all the teachers will be at the same level from kindergarten to grade 10. And when they grow in terms of their packages, or even in the terms of the way they are paid, it will be in their own capacity. Like, the more years of experience they have, they'll become senior in their own capacity, not senior by increase of classes. That is, from grade 1 to grade 10th. If they become a grade 10 teacher, they won't become senior. But if they have 5 years of experience or 10 years of experience in their own subject, then also they'll be called seniors, and increments will happen, and salaries will be decided from each level. And teachers will have to focus more on the social emotional learning of children, and the new process of teaching that we want them to do. So a lot of professional development has to happen for teachers now. I would honestly recommend that we should start for this professional development from now onwards. We should not wait for next year when suddenly this is thrown onto her head. And this is also recommended in the new education policy to be given online also. So online teacher development modules will be developed, and we have to start giving minimum 50 hours of professional development to teachers, has to be given every year. And the same has to be given to leaders also. Now, teachers who are doing outstanding work will be recognized, they'll be promoted and given salary increases and incentives. So teachers also will be taken care of as per the new education policy. Can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. Next slide, yes. So we will have a good assessment system for teacher performance, where the merit-based assessment will be formed, and depending on that, the promotion and salary increase of each teacher will be taken into consideration. The approach to career management of teachers in schools will ensure that the growth of teachers in career is, that is, the promotion, salary increases, etc., will be available within a single school stage. That is, in foundation stage, higher stage. So by growth, it doesn't mean they move from foundation stage to secondary stage, but that stage only they will grow up and up. And then when they go to one level, they will also be considered for leadership positions. Can we go to the next slide? So vertical mobility of teacher based on merits will be paramount importance. Now, as there is an urgent need of special educators, a special course will be designed which other already done B.Ed teachers can take, and they can upgrade themselves with whatever knowledge, whatever content they have. They can upgrade themselves to not just provide their subject expertise, but also to become special educators. Can we come to the next slide? So there will be a body by the name NSTFE, which will be formed by 2021, and they will provide framework for teacher education. So a lot of professional development for teachers have to be given. All the teachers will be given equal importance. Then nursery teacher is not less than the senior secondary teacher. And depending on their expertise, their strengths, they'll be given the increment or the incentives in their own area of expert. So this is about teacher education. Now we come to the 7th chapter, which is equitable and exclusive education. This is actually the 6th chapter in NEP, but this is the 7th element that I'm taking here. So in equitable and inclusive education, till now we were only talking about special education. In girls' child education, but here gender inclusion will be taken into consideration. By gender inclusion, it is not only girls' child education, but also transgender children will be given importance. So gender inclusion funds will be given, and this has to be used to enable children to be able to participate in regular schools. And these funds will be used to equip you to upgrade the infrastructure of the schools, both in the form of the building and also in the form of resources, the books, the technical tools that we can use, that more and more of children with special needs can be incorporated into normal schools. So this is about equitable and inclusive education, that funds will be given to upgrade your infrastructure and the teaching tools that we use. I mean, if we need to use mics, or if we need to use textbooks with large fonts or brailles, all this will be provided so that we have more of inclusive education. Can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. Okay. So this slide is talking about FE. This is the 7th chapter in the National Education Policy for School Education. Now, this slide talks about effective governance through school complexes. Now, this is a tricky mention in the NEP. It is saying that all the schools in 3 to 5 kilometer area, regional, every area, will together come into one complex, one cluster called school complexes. As of today, we see such clusters in Sahodiyas, we see IB school clusters, we see IGCSE, ICSE school clusters, but now we are looking at regional clusters. I mean, we are here trying to bring across the boards, all the private and public and all the boards, everybody together will come into school complexes. And in school complexes, the teachers may be recruited in the school complex, and we will do sharing of resources. As in, one school has got very good library, another school has got very good playground. So together we will use the resources. If our this school children can go to that school to play, that school children can come to this school for the library. Like that, in this cluster schools, they will share resources. Similarly, teachers can also be shared. If I've got a very good science teacher, if I've got a very good maths teacher, I can share it with the other schools also. They can go to other schools and teach there also. And if there is any, there'll be training and pairing of one public school and one private school. So that together we bring, the entire focus is children here, not exclusivity or commercialization. That is why when we twin them together, the quality of education will increase, which will impact children on a bigger level. So that is about clusters. So in clusters will be formed, groups will be formed, and teachers will be recruited in the groups. Even the resources will be shared in the groups. The professional development which will happen. So, if I'm today going to hire somebody to come and do the professional development of my school, instead of doing it for my school, I will make them do it in the cluster, so that all the schools in that cluster will get the advantage. So like this, we are trying to bring all the school and group schools together, so that together we become a strength and work towards progression in education. So this is about the school clusters that is proposed in the National Education Policy. It's called school complexes or school clusters. It is mentioned in the 7th chapter of school education of National Education Policy. Now we come to the last chapter, which talks about, can we go to next slide? Next slide. Now we come to the last chapter, which talks about standard setting and accreditation of school education. As of today, most of the school accreditation is in the hand of the DOs. So apart from this, we want a standard setting so that everything becomes very, very transparent. So this is to basically avoid the commercialization and economic exploitation of parents by many profit-making private organizations. So there'll be a website. We will have one body, regulatory body, which will be formed and which will work along with the Department of Education. And that will have the school, that website will have all the schools listed and their fees, the facilities available has to be mentioned publicly. So that, when it is being, what they offer and what they are charging as school fees is in control, then commercialization or sale of education will be somewhere in control. this authority will be called SSA authority, triple SA authority, which means, can we go to the next slide? For me, the State School Standard Authority. The State School Standard Authority. The State School Standard Authority will establish a minimum set of standards. It will give you parameters for safety, security, basic infrastructure, number of teachers across the subjects that we should have, how much of financial probity we can take, and how to, process the governance, how to manage the governance school. For this, they will provide us a framework. And for this, they will provide us with the standards. And these standards have to be followed by all the schools. And obviously, for private schools, the commercials will be under control for this. So an effective quality self-regulation and accreditation system will be instituted for all stages of education. That is from preschool to the higher secondary school. And there is no this thing about private and public. All of them have to comply with these quality standards. Now, if you see this, most of us agree to the fact that the quality of education given in private sector is more than the quality given in government sector. So why is this happening? This should not be there. Now then, again, at the end of the day, education is for children. Be the children coming to a government school or be the children coming to a private school. All of them deserve quality education. And that is why this standardization of quality of education, which will be proposed under the SSA department, is very, very necessary for us. The entire focus will come to quality in education here, and obviously the financials which will be taken by the private schools will be also got into control. And this, we go to the next slide. This will be a very transparent public self-disclosure. We'll have a self-disclosure on the website where we ourselves will have to disclose everything about our schools. Private schools will be assessed and accredited on the same criteria. It's not different for both of them. And because all of us are here for the same goal, then how should we be different? So, they will mandate certain things. They'll make certain things very important, that we have to follow the guidelines. We have to disclose the guidelines. We have to be transparent about the guidelines, and everything will be put up on the website so that the parents can also see that, what is being provided in the private school, government school, and take a decision accordingly. So this is about SSA system. This will be a standard accreditation system will be provided. This is the 8th chapter of the school education as proposed in the National Education Policy. So this is about the first part of the National Education Policy, which is the school education. If we quickly do a recap, the first we talked about the change in the structure from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 with foundation stage, preparatory stage, middle school, and higher secondary. And then we talked about the importance of early childhood education. So previously we took importance of education where children were admitted in school in grade 1 at the age of 5, but now it is age of 3. Early childhood has become important. Then the next we talked about curtailing dropouts, and then we talked about, what did we talk about? The foundation literacy and numeracy. First chapter was about early childhood. The second chapter was about foundation literacy and numeracy, and the third chapter was about how to decrease the drop rates, obviously by providing internship programs, making school more interesting, and pedagogy and curriculum was the next chapter, which is about how teaching and learning has to happen. More of project method, assessment will become easy. And then about teacher education. So here professional development of teacher has been given a lot of importance. Then we went to the chapter on equitable and inclusive education, where gender inclusion funds, including the transgenders, will be provided to make our schools more equipped to be able to provide education to all. we talked about school complexes, that is clustering or grouping schools together. And the last, we talked about accreditation of schools, which will be one standard accreditation for private and government. It will be very transparent through the website declaration, self-declaration by each school about what they provide and how they provide. So this is what we have discussed today. With this, can we go to the next slide, please? We complete the first part of National Education Policy, which talks about school education. Next slide, please. The second part of the National Education Policy is the higher education, which is the university education, which includes the graduation, post-graduation, and PhD. So this we are going to take tomorrow, because again, this is a huge chapter with about 14, a huge part with about 14 chapters. So today we have taken 8 chapters, which is early childhood education. We have taken about foundation literacy numeracy. We have spoken about curtailing the dropout rates. We have teachers. We have spoken about school clusters. We have spoken about inclusion, and we have spoken about standard accreditation. This we spoke today in school education, and tomorrow we are going to talk about higher education. Now, apart from this, the third part has, little bit mentioned about the other key areas of focus, which says that adult education has to be taken into consideration. We have to take the promotion of the Indian language, art, and culture. We have to accept and include the technology, use of technology, and integrate into the education system. And apart from that, the last chapter is obviously the most challenging question all of us have to ask ourselves, that how will we make it happen? So to strengthen this, to strengthen the CABE, that is the Central Advisory Board of Education, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, which is MHRD, which will be redesignated as Ministry of Education. And this will together work with all the other organizations, including the MHRD, CABE, union and state government, education-related ministries, state departments of education boards, NTA, and other regulatory like NCRT, SCRT, all of them will come together and they will work towards strengthening the framework in the form of professional development courses, regulations. All this will come to us, and we have visioned that by the time of 2030, 2040, this entire policy will be in the operational mode. Can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. So the Ministry of Human Resource, MHRD, will be renamed as Ministry of Education. And all the boards, SCRT, NCRT, CABE, all of us will come together and work under that towards upliftment of quality of education is being proposed in the National Education Policy. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. And by 2030, 2040, we all want to actually have envisioned to take this policy into action. We will be able to see that in action. With this, we come to the end of the session, and thank you so much for your time. Any questions any one of you have, you can please type it in the comment box, and I will be more than happy to answer. So please give feedback. I hope that I was pretty clear. If recapitulate, the new education policy is into 4 parts. First part is school education, second is higher education, third is additional areas of focus, and the fourth is making it happen. Today we spoke in detail about the first part, which is the school education, which has got 8 chapters. The first chapter is, can you type the name of the first chapter? Which was the first chapter?
Gudipati Narayana. Gudipati Narayana.
Sir, namaste.
Sir, ask me a question, madam.
Sir, is it audible, sir?
Audible, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, it's audible.
Madam, Kaushal madam. Hello.
Audible,
sir.
sir. Yeah. Please ask me a question.
Hello. Hello. Is it audible?
Yes, sir. Please ask the question.
Audible, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Madam,
You're very much audible.
yes. Regarding medium of instruction, very clearly, NEP is recommended to implement medium of instruction that is a local language, a regional language, a home language, oblique they mentioned. Actually, there are many local home languages. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, East Godavari, West Godavari, and some parts of Anantapur and Kurnool, there are people's language is their native or home languages or tribal languages. So, as per NEP, this type of these languages material has to be developed. So far, I think in this academic year.
Just to your question, sir. You are saying that when we are giving them, I understand.
Yes.
Can I
Even
answer
from
the question now?
Yeah, madam. Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Firstly, sir, the medium of instruction for teachers is not mandatory. I mean, there is no rule that you have to use the regional language only. What they are trying to say through that recommendation is, as of today, there is a culture in our schools that English should be used as medium of language. And for teachers, in spite of being very good teachers, they're very good math teachers, science teacher, but they're not able to teach only because they're not very good at English. Because all of us put the entire focus we have given a lot of importance to English as medium of instruction. So that is what they're trying to remove. They're saying you can use any language which is easy for you and your children. And the communication of information or understanding of the chapter or the content that the teacher is teaching is more important than efficiency of the language. So they want to remove the importance that we give to English medium or English speaking in classrooms. They're not trying to give you a strict rule that use only Telugu or use only Hindi or use only Marathi. What is comfortable between the teacher and the children? You know, if the class has majority number of students with one certain mother tongue language, then teacher is using that for them. Now, teacher, it's not that if today I am going to speak to you, I am going to say hi to you in Hindi, I will not say hi to you in English. So I can say, you know, if all of us today also our languages are also different. Some of us can be Hindi, some of us can be Telugu, and in Telugu also many different this thing as you are rightly mentioning. So same thing can't say in all the languages. The have to be that the teacher use easy language for communication and not focus on English language only, so that it is easy for communication or relationship between teacher and the students, and better understanding of the concept has to be given more importance than the language use. That is what NEP is recommending. So even if a class have got, say, 4 languages, children speaking 4 different languages, but the teacher can try to find a majority and use one common language, or she can also try to at least one common communication will be there. If not through the language, then through pictures she can teach, through images she can teach, so that through experience she can teach. If it is like a chapter of plants, and if I'm telling you what each part means, so I can show a real plant and show. So that is why hands-on learning is also being mentioned. So we are trying to remove the barrier of the languages, only communication. And concept clarity is given importance. That is why it is being mentioned, sir. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, madam. One more added for that. In this NEP, multilingualism has to be taken as a resource. They said what you also mentioned regarding 4 or 5 languages are there in urban areas.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so teachers has to understand this classroom ecology, language ecology, and has to be oriented on these aspects. Then only and also bilingualism is also proposed in this NEP. So it has to be taken care of.
It is being mentioned. What the entire focus, why we are trying to say this is because our formal schools have been structured from the post-independence time. So most of our schools were influenced by the British education. That is why if you see any other country, all the countries teach in their own languages, regional languages. But only in our country, we suddenly has given English as medium of instruction. So this has somewhere become challenging for many teachers. That is why we are trying to now bring about a change there and give that liberty to teachers to even use a Telugu medium book or a Hindi medium book if they want. So that is the entire crux of this. We want to give more weightage to understanding of the concept and not to the language used.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Now there is a question which is my pleasure, sir. There is a question which has come in the Q&A. I will quickly take each one of these questions because before anybody asks me any other question. The first question is given by Vamsi sir, and he says, Namaste madam, is it true that that will efficiency in English subject only provide job opportunities when compared with local language studies? Now sir, what happens is now when we are giving liberty of any kind of education here, and we are more giving weightage to skill development. If you actually see the IT department, how much of talking in English or how much of English do they use? More what is being used is their mental efficiency, how they are able to compute and how they are able to use their skills is more important here. So this is all a mindset that only English language provides good job opportunities. This mindset only we have to change. That is why we want to ensure skill development. Skills like arts, theater, music, dance. Do we have an opportunity for English here? No. So all these things are being killed inside a child. Creativity is being killed, and that is where we are trying to bring about this change in the education so that we come out of this mindset that only good English language can provide them jobs. Whatever they are doing, if they do best, that can provide jobs. Maybe they'll become agriculturalists tomorrow. If they like, they can be very good farmers. Why not? So all these things we have to change now. This is the question from Vamsi sir. The second question has come from GBV Prasad Rao sir. He says that is it possible to take these trainings through Mana TV at MRC level after school hours? If you're talking about the training which has happened today, I think Bharti or Jhansi will be able to help you in this. If you're talking about professional development of teachers, yes, we have to start using more and more avenues to provide trainings to our teachers from now onwards through whatever mode we are easily able to reach out. We can even write books for them on the same topic, on the same program that we are conducting, and we can send them and get it translated in regional languages also. We have to make them understand everything very clearly. So any kind of avenue that we want to use, we should use. The second question is, third question has again come from Vamsi sir. He talks about early childhood education. And yes, I have spoken in detail about it. And then we come to S. Anwar Basha. He says, John, please, madam, my opinion is best for environmental classes for children. Yes, environmental study is also very, very important. It is a part of education, not whole education, and it should be taken into consideration. I mean, first we should start with ourselves. We should first take care of ourselves and then the world around us. So it's not just the world around us, but we also are very important. So our mental well-being, children's mental well-being has to be taken into consideration. And then there is a question. He says the national education policy is good, but how we overcome infrastructure, facilities and resources in primary level. Obviously, funds will be provided for the infrastructure of facilities, and how we will overcome, we can only say once we know what you already have. What the NEP says is sharing the resources. If you have some facility, someone else has some facility, it's like everybody will not have everything, but everybody will at least have one thing. So if we all start sharing that one thing with each other, then we'll become richer. Instead of saying my this thing, my that, if we say our this thing in our library, our playground, then we will become richer in resources. And now it's a digital world. So online resources will also be available apart from the physical structure. So we need a little change in the mindset where we don't work in isolation and we come together, share resources, and work towards a common goal, which is the quality in education and provide it to children. Not just the success of our own organization, not success of one school, but the success of children as a whole. So once that mindset changes, then every challenge will be overcome. Now there is one question from P. Gangadharam sir, who says that who teaches 9, 10th, 11th, 12th classes, school assistant or lecturers? Neither school assistants nor lecturers, sir. There'll be teachers with expertise in that subject. So with this, I've answered all the questions which came in the Q&A session. Question, or can we end the session now? I hope I've done justice to the time that you all have given me. Chakravarti sir, how was the session?
This is good. Wonderful. You've been very crisp, very clear. The one point I think which I think they should also appreciate is that there are a lot of linkages which are sought to be established between the school and the rest of the society in terms of taking the students to conduct classes outside, linking them with others.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Introduction of vocational
Unity
education.
reach.
Yeah, and culture and heritage.
Right, sir.
Sensitizing them about the democratic, their democratic and constitutional responsibilities. No, these are all very, very essential. Perhaps what could have also been added in this school new education policies, the interaction as between the students, the respect for
It is
others.
there. Peer learning is being mentioned there.
Yeah, how do they interact? I mean, how do they cultivate respect? Because a lot of effort at home is to deride the merits of others, in a very casual manner, not intended, but that's the ultimate result.
Mm.
The derision for the others and lack of respect and concern for them. You see, that's the reason why there is a criticism.
That is right, sir. Once we, for this, we have to first showcase empathy ourselves. When we will show respect to each other, then children will see that and they will start showing respect to each other. When we will belittle each other and we will make ourselves not too humbling, and then that will also be seen by the children and they repeat it. And once we stop giving them grades and make one children over the other, then obviously when we try to celebrate the uniqueness of each child, then also these changes will come. Now, one very simple example I will tell you, sir. When I was in my school, in my progress report, every time they used to write in remarks that she's a very talkative girl. Can you believe that? They said it in remarks, and they used to even scold my mother and tell them that please ask her not to talk so much. But if I would have listened to them and stopped talking, maybe I wouldn't be talking today.
Yeah.
So that is where we lack to celebrate the uniqueness of each child. Maybe that was my strength. If they would have given me more of those activities, I would have spoken better. So once we start changing the way assessment is happening, and when we start treating every child as somebody who is born to do something and bring about a change in the world, I'm certainly sure that each one will respect each other. Now they are not respecting because we have put them into competition with each other. I always
Right.
say that our education system is actually meant to make us very selfish. Everybody have to get first, have to become first. Everybody have to bring certain percentage. So we are running, we are already cutting competitions. So how will they empathize with others? So that is why the way this learning assessment is going to happen, I'm sure it will bring empathy and we will start respecting each other.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely right. And I think that's where we need to learn a lot from the Japanese, who have a great deal of respect for the other person. They celebrate the positive qualities of the other person. We're not trained to do that. If somebody is doing it, he's doing it out of his own sense of propriety or evolution or consciousness. We need to train, as you rightly said, we need to train our teachers to consciously inculcate this habit of celebrating the others,
Yes, sir. And
and then
Chakrapani, sir, I would really recommend this, that the way these knowledge sessions you are doing for the school leader.
hello, Ravindra.
Sir,
Plans we should give them.
Yeah, that's right. I think a lot more of interaction among the children, the rest of the society,
Yes,
among
sir.
themselves. Yeah, all these will be immensely beneficial. And I think these sessions perhaps will serve a great deal of purpose if we are able to celebrate the positive qualities in the other person. That's what I would think would be very, very relevant. And thank you very much for a wonderful session. Hello.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, can I take a leave?
Sudha,
Okay, thank you, everyone. This
Thank you,
PowerPoint.
Thank you, madam, for your presentation. And I thank all the participants for participating.